Oh, how are these fiery, deep energies of 2025 treating you? I have been just delving into the depths of shadow work over here. And apparently, that's what's needed. So we're cool with that. Shadow work is always important and always very relevant, right? When we're asked to, being called to do it. So yes, but that is a great time to have tea together because, hey, how can we talk about self-care? How can we bring in self-love? How can we connect with others and share what inspires and motivates us? That is why I created Tea Time with Noko. So here we are. And hi to everyone joining. I'm so excited about my guest. I've been kind of scheduling and booking people along the way as I've started doing these lives again and enjoying every last part of it. Have another really great friend that's going to be coming on with me after this one, so I'm excited for what's to come and all those that I'm asking to join me. If you're feeling that divine call or I haven't asked yet, please reach out to me and message me if you want to be on and spend some time together. So one of the things that I do with a lot of the guests that come on is a little giveaway with my shop, Noko's Tribe. So if you aren't following over there, definitely please do. I'm going to drop it in the chat. And that is where the giveaway post is right now, that we have an amazing giveaway going on. So definitely check that out. You can either go over to my page or to Racquel's page. And you can also go into my stories on this page. I've shared it in my stories, and I'm going to be trying to do that as much as possible before the end. I forget which day it ends. My goodness, it's next week sometime, so you have a little bit of time. Or maybe the end of the week. I'll have to double check that. My brain lately is so, I'm just processing a lot. I think many of you will understand that component. And also it feels like as I'm being kind of elevated into these higher levels of consciousness, it's just kind of changing my abilities to tap into my, always being able to tap into my earthly information, like my memories and my knowledge and whatnot. So it's kind of interesting. Like I'll be at a loss for words and I'll just be like trying to send this frequency like, oh, please make sure this person receives and understands what I'm saying. And yeah, usually they do. So it works out well. I guess the telepathy is really coming in for 2025 for everyone. So yeah, I was just waiting for Racquel to jump on. I don't see her yet, but let's do our little intro because y'all know my theme song from my album, Divinely Connected. It is called Underdog, and it is just such a cool song. And so I always start every tea time with it until I actually have my theme song here that I can just like play on cue in my videos. I sing a little bit of it to just get us all in the vibe of like, this energy of empowering ourselves, right? Because that's what the song Underdog is kind of about, my path and coming from where I'd been to where I am. And yeah, just like, heck yeah, I don't mind being the underdog. So N to the O to the K to the O, N to the O to the K, big up the underdog, N to the O to the K to the O, N to the O to the K, power to the people. Yes, just empowering us today to use our voices, to stand up in our sovereignty, to speak our truth, to shine our lights. And on that note, I see my guest has popped in the room. Woohoo! This is Racquel. She's under all that is _108. So please be sure to go support her, follow her page, like her posts, and definitely check out all my stories. I had posted her YouTube and her website and would definitely love to share the wealth of her light and her wisdom and what she's bringing to the table. So without further ado, drum roll, let's get her on. Come on, Racquel. Bridge together. I don't know if yours is hot, but mine's hot today. I always am looking forward to a hot beverage. In fact, I usually have more than one a day.
Hi,
There she
Noko.
is. Hi, beautiful. How are
I'm
you?
good. How are
I'm
you?
great. It's good to see you.
Me too.
Are you
Your
getting
orientation,
me okay? Are you able to see me properly?
I can see you, but you're this way. I'm not sure if there's a way to
Oh,
change that.
okay. Let me see if I can shift this
If
around.
not, no worries. We can work with that. Hi, Yusufa 106, East Coast Brandy, just sending y'all all so much love for being in the room with us today. Getting ready to connect with the beautiful Racquel that has been, well, we've connected in several areas, I think.
Yeah, yeah. We've been doing pretty good. Hey,
I
is that
love
better?
your, yeah, that's perfect. I love your orange and your painting back there. How gorgeous is that?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So, Raquel, I'm going to just let you kind of introduce yourself to the tribe, let them know what you do, your passions, and let's get started.
Yeah. Okay, where do I start? It's hard to talk about yourself, hey?
Mhm.
So I think first off, I'd like to say that recently I've just gone into my realization of being an energy healer.
Mm.
And so this has come online, I would say, in the last maybe 3 to 4 years. But prior to that, I was just sort of gathering myself, so to speak, and trying to find out and figure out where it is I fit in this whole ascension process,
Mhm.
right? So yeah, I went through all of that, as they say, dark night of the soul and all of that stuff. And so, coming to the realization that there's something larger and bigger happening here, for all of us, on an individual level as well as, planetarily, cosmically, right? So yeah, so just coming into alignment with all of that. And while I was doing all of that, just dealing with my own energy, understanding what was happening, um, I came to that realization through connecting with my higher self and connecting with my guides. And all of this happened
Yes.
synchronistically. Yes, that's it. And so, yeah, I then started channeling with the higher dimensionals or interdimensional beings. And, once you tune into that energy, it's so, so incredible. There's just so much, there's just so much. And so, trying not to be overwhelmed by all of the things that I was discovering through these beings, and just tuning in to my own energy, learning through that and learning through all of the information that they were presenting to me, right? And so yeah, all of this happened just prior to COVID, or I would say just around the time that COVID hit, and all of this sort of really, like, took off. And so I started channeling on a regular basis with them, and there was just so much beautiful information coming in, Noko, and I just felt like, oh my God, I need to document this. And I was journaling all of it, right from the start. I didn't want to miss out on anything. And your memory, once you pass the age of 50, is not very credible, right?
Hey, I'm
So
not there yet, but yes, I agree already. So,
yeah, so I started journaling just so, for my own sake, I'm not going crazy, or, that all of this is actually happening to me, right? And so I started journaling like crazy, all the things that were happening to me. And while this was happening, I was getting all this downloads or information, if you want to call it that, from these beings. And so I had so much stuff, and, it became like a daily conversation with them, and so I asked them if I could put it all down in a book. And that's how the first book came to be. And I don't know if your guests has had a chance to look on my website, but I'll show you a quick glimpse of the book.
yeah.
So that was the first one. All that is progressing to the fifth dimension. And so
Beautiful.
it was a channeling of uh, three interdimensional beings. One of them was a Palladian, an Arcturian, and the other was is from the 12th dimension. And so, yeah, this book came about, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful story about, a perspective from these three. They came together as known as the collective of three. And so their energy as a collective just talked about, the early creation story, and then, the explosion of what happened on the earth plane, in terms of the Draco invasion and how we sort of went into that downfall, if you will, from the fifth dimension into a lower third dimensional existence. And so brings us full circle to what we are experiencing now as an ascension process. And so they give you, through the book and even on my website, there's like tons of communications that I've had with them that I've documented as videos or audio files on my YouTube and on my website. So yeah, they've just been they've been giving me all of these nuggets and, just beautiful, beautiful guidance on how to navigate the energies that we now face. So yeah, long story, right?
No, it's fascinating to me because it kind of sounds like it happened pretty quickly. If that was only, COVID, and you've already got books and just even the timing too is very divine.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
hearing, so many people around that time, and even I was told, and I put it in my music before that even happened, that there was going to be this great awakening, and so many people are speaking of that.
yeah,
So I love how that all fits. And I'm very interested in channeling actually myself because, there is a lot of, conflicting, there's a lot of like discernment needed. There's a lot of people that will say, don't channel and don't listen to channelers and all this kind of, messaging. And I'm the type of person, I don't like to do this all or nothing thing. I don't like this divide thing. I think it's really important to look at each, individual situation and see, because I'm sure there are people channeling, not great information and false,
yeah,
and, all of these types of things. But on the same token, right, you've got duality. So there's got to be people also bringing in truth and bringing in cosmic, wisdom that needs to be remembered and kind of reignited. So I'm just glad that there's someone like you, because I've been working with you and I know your heart and I can feel how pure you are as a soul and that you're on your mission. And so I love the idea of, kind of talking a little bit more about channeling. Was that something you learned, or was that something that just came as a gift, or?
Well, I'm glad you mentioned that because I got into channeling and it was through a very dark sort of route, if you will.
Ah,
So yeah, and just going back a few years, I've been like practicing yoga and meditation for, I don't know, as long as I can remember, and so I've always had that sort of guiding light in my heart. And I always knew that there was something larger than myself. And so I went on this journey, I could probably say right from my 22nd year of being here on the earth plane, of like just trying to find that higher knowing, if you will, right? And so my mom and well, I guess my family really. My mom is Catholic. My dad was Protestant, and so I was baptized Protestant. And then later on, when my mom and dad split up, I was about 14 when that happened. Mom took us through the Catholic Church, and I had all that First Holy Communion and all of that. My heart wasn't in it, so I just went through the moves and motions of it, and yeah, just. But I was always searching. I knew there was something there that I needed to find, and so around 22, 23, around that age, I went into Buddhism and learned about meditation and all of the beautiful things that Buddhism has to offer. And so that was when I moved to well, it kind of started. Sorry, let's just go back a little further. So born in India, moved to Dubai, United Arab Emirates for a little while, and then moved to Canada. And then, so when I moved to Canada, I then landed in Toronto, then moved to the West Coast. So all of this brought me to about 2008. And so that's when I started diving into Buddhism. And so that got me like centered and grounded. And I had a very powerful meditation one time where I went into this other world. It was just beautiful, beautiful. I must have stepped into some sort of realm, Shambhala, as they call it, right? It had all these beautiful golden temples. And I came out of that meditation and I was like, what just happened, But it was such a beautiful thing. And I still today remember it like it happened just yesterday. It was just such a beautiful, beautiful meditation. And so I kept that in my heart. And then um, through my connection with Buddhism, I interacted with Tara a lot. The white and green Tara, you must know that being, right? I have a huge painting of her in my living room. I don't know if I can show that to you. Let's see if this works. Can I actually flip the camera around?
I feel like I have a Tara something as well. I don't know where it is though.
Oh,
Huh.
oh, I don't know. Maybe it's not working. Maybe I'll just walk over and show it to you. But it's just
Mm.
it's just been an inspiration for me.
Oh, wow. Wow, that is just
Yeah,
gorgeous.
yeah. So I actually had a tattoo on my arm as well, dedicated to her.
Mhm.
And so this was sort of my inspiration at that time to learn about this being. And then I found out, she took an oath to be on this earth until all beings that were suffering or in samsara would be saved.
Mm.
And so that was like, wow, this is amazing.
Mm.
Um, and so that was sort of the Buddhism influence in my life. And then um, I went off to live on Salt Spring Island as a yogi for about 2 years
Oh, wow.
at a meditation and yoga center. And while I managed the center, I did my yoga teachers training, 200-hour yoga teachers training. And that's when I one day just stumbled onto this automatic writing class.
Mm.
And I got into that. And lo and behold, I contacted a very dark energy.
Okay.
And
Uh-huh.
so this energy came through, and it was very exciting for me because I had never experienced anything like it before, right?
Mhm.
And so I was just scribbling away, and it came forward in the form of drawings and art. And as you can see behind you, I'm an artist. So I started scribbling and drawing all of these forms and all of these energies, and then we sort of developed like a yes and no answer.
Okay.
And so I started communicating with this being, and it started to tell me that it was from Saturn. And we started like talking about all kinds of things, and it was giving me information about my past lives and all of these things that I had not known before.
Mhm.
So anyway, this continued for about, I don't know, 3 or 4 days, I would say. And then the energy shifted. It became really aggressive. Um, and then this being somehow, I don't know how it happened, but it opened up the channels for me to be able to hear clearer into the
Mm.
other realms,
Mm.
right? So my clairaudience like sort of came online and got activated.
Mhm.
And so I could hear what was happening in these other realms. And um, I felt that this being had somehow been infiltrated by somebody or something else. And then these other voices started to come into my reality. And I realized that this being was no longer with me, the one that was first communicating with me. And so then these other beings came to me and they started to introduce themselves to me. At the time, I didn't know anything about the Draco.
Mhm.
And so it ended up being the Draco. They were a group of
Mhm.
5. And yeah, they infiltrated my energy, and they were so charming, so they presented as a very loving collective, and they wanted to write a book with me, lo and behold, about their experience and their lives. And so they started talking to me and saying, this is what I should be writing about. And I was like, okay, give me some time, let me think about it. um, but at night when I slept, they started doing crazy stuff to me, and I didn't agree with that. And so I started like reaching out to all the, energy healers that I knew at the time and saying, please help me get rid of this energy. I'm really struggling.
Mhm.
It's not something that I want to do. And so, um, yeah, one of my friends in the US connected me with Kuan Yin,
Mm-hmm.
and we did a healing session. And to a large extent, that energy left me, but they kept coming back. They found a way to come back and to come back. And so then she guided me through another meditation, and that's when Yeshua came into my reality. Whew, I get emotional because that was such a real experience for me. So yeah, that's when Yeshua and his entourage, I like to say, came in, and they sort of, yeah, removed this energy completely from my reality. And since then, yeah, that's when these other energies, the collective of three, came into my reality. Mother Mary, Mary Magdalene, so all of the ascended masters that I now work with made an appearance, and yeah, and
So
that's
that
how,
that dark experience kind of led you to finding.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In a way,
And
it was a good thing,
yeah, yeah, I hear you.
but I had to be thrown into the deep end to learn, my way around, so to speak. So
Mm-hmm.
I am grateful in a way because, it did show me the two sides of the coin, so to speak, right? But it was a very dark experience. But I'm glad I got out of it, and
Mm-hmm.
paved the way for where I am today.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Wow. I'm really excited for you to share that because I think that, while some people might feel scared or something, right, around these things and have fear,
yeah,
it's like, well, it's really not something to fear if, it's as simple as, then calling upon um, the ascended masters to help you.
yeah,
And you already had a leg up there because you had already been doing some of the work. You had already been initiated, it sounds like, being in Shambhala. It's so interesting because I just did a reading last night, and this Shambhala card was so strong and powerful. And so to have that come up today in this conversation is really, really intriguing. But it is confirmation to me that you were already kind of laying that foundation, with the ascended masters and with those higher frequencies and higher dimensions. And so when you needed help, you could, obtain that much easier. So, wow, that's very interesting. And now Yeshua, do you still work with that energy as far as like in your books as well?
that's book number 2. So
Okay.
yeah, I channeled book number 2 with Yeshua directly.
Wow.
And so this was, I think it was last year. Yeah, I came online last year and I published it 4 months down the line. But yeah, that was really an interesting experience as well.
Mm.
The book is like, let me backtrack. When I first got into the reality of Yeshua and all of these beings, I was very, very skeptical.
Okay.
As you know, I mentioned my church background, and I was like, I'm sorry, I don't believe in any of this. How do I know it's you? Or, like, prove to me. This is
Yeah.
a very human response, right? Prove to me that you're real. I don't know you from Jack. So I went through that whole, mistrust and not wanting to believe, and all of the, things that we need to come to terms with in terms of just figuring out how to deal with these energies, right?
Mm.
And so there was just too much truth in it, Noko. There was just too much truth in how these beings showed up for me, and just the things that were unfolding in my life. And it was like they would tell me something, and then next day or the next few hours, things would materialize and it would confirm all of the things that they were telling me. So it was just too much not to believe, or just to ignore and say, yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
um so yeah, this being then took me through. I was reading, by the way, I was reading A Course in Miracles at that time. And so I haven't finished it, by the way. It's such a huge book, but he took me through some of these energies or some of these passages, and like took me deep down these rabbit holes, if you will, and explained things to me. So it was like having your own personal friend to go to anytime you needed something, or you needed something cleared, right?
Mm.
And it was like the entire universe opened up for me. I had so many questions, so many questions. And so we had this beautiful conversation going back and forth all the time. And while all of this was happening, like they were healing me emotionally, mentally, physically. I was aligning my past lives. I was being shown how to connect to my higher self, how to align with that energy, how to understand that energy, because I honestly, I didn't know anything about the higher self and what that whole energy was, you know. So all of that came online, and then again we started just communicating, and this book came online. Now, The Voice of an Angel, I have to tell you the story. This goes back a few years too. When I first came to Vancouver, I went to a psychic just, you know, for the heck of it. I was on Granville Island and I came across a psychic and I was like, let's go and see what she has to say. And so she did a reading on me. And during that time, she was like, have you written your book? I was like, no. She said, yep, you're supposed to read a book. It's called The Voice of an Angel. I'm like, really? And this was in 2008, okay, somewhere around there. So she named the book at that time, and I had no idea. And so when the dark ones came, I was like, is this the book I'm supposed to be writing? But anyway, all of that passed. And so then Yeshua revealed himself and he said, yep, this is the book we're supposed to be writing. And he was very, very excited. You know, he was like, this is ordained and it's meant to be. And so, you know, we started writing. And so his the book is all about his life and his story about just being a light worker, birthed as a light worker um, from Sirius, and then moving into, you know, the divine realm as a young initiate, and then just taking you on a journey of what that means to be a light worker, you know, in the higher realms. And then he takes you through the journey of his incarnation on earth as Jesus, all of the struggles that happened during that time. He talks about his relationship with Mary Magdalene, um, and then takes you past that, beyond his death, and then continues on about the transition from a physical to a light being and what happens during that transition. And this is great information, right, for anybody that wants to know, right, about what happens once you die. Because a lot of people think, oh yeah, that's it, you know, we come here, we live, and that's it, we don't go anywhere, right? That's a lot of people do believe that. But for those that believe in reincarnation or, you know, something beyond this physical life, it's beautiful information, right? To get that confirmation. And so yeah, so he talks about you know, his I guess his mission at this time, and I don't know, you must be aware that the Andromedans are sort of leading the charge, right? And so it's like there's so many layers to that as well, right? And so the Andromedans are taking on the leadership role, and then you've got the Galactic Federation and all of these factions attached to the Galactic Federation, and then you've got the Ascended Masters, and all of these beings have their own role, right? And so he talks about his and Mary's role, Mary Magdalene's role in the ascension process, and how they're helping in so many ways, right? Specifically, he talks about the children, how they assist the children. There's just so many jewels in the book. It's just an amazing story. And so, yeah, again, that brings us to this current, you know, time of our ascension, and it offers help to, you know, how we can move forward on a personal level as a collective.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
That is so much to cover in one book, and even just knowing, um, you know, your background as far as you said, like with religion and what you already knew about these, you know, creation myths, stories, you know, what we've been told, what's in the Bible and other sacred texts.
Yeah.
It's so wonderful to think that there's an opportunity to actually, read something that is actual truth. Because a lot of
Hmm.
times you read some of these things and
Yeah.
right, there's a different spin on it, maybe an agenda, maybe a narrative, things like this by design. And so for you having that pure connection, with him and being able to bring forth a little bit of that history, a little bit of why, you know, um, what actually happened and why, and then being able to connect that into where we are now, with, and even that you're getting like information on the cosmic level, from him is really intriguing to me. So, yeah, I'm very drawn to your works, and I
Oh, thank
wonder, I
you.
your covers as well. Did you you said you're an artist, so did you create the covers and all the designs and
Yeah, I did all of it on my own, Noko.
ah,
I did the writing, the editing, the designing, the publishing,
oh,
everything.
girl, you're amazing.
Yeah, I did it through Amazon, which was a great way to do it. It was, yeah, it was challenging, but with my administrative background, that
Mm,
helped me a lot. So yeah, I was able to do that. It was a very exciting process.
mm.
Um,
Wow,
yeah.
that's
So
amazing.
I guess the disclosure for me is that if there are any mistakes in the books, it's all purely mine.
Well, I think that would be fair for you to have some. My goddess, we know how much goes into being a one show. So, and I myself have a little children's book waiting in the wings. So
Nice.
it's very inspiring to see someone like yourself that, is an entrepreneur, is investing in yourself in that way and being able to figure it all out on your own. I mean, that is part of why I do this show, because I think it's so important that we share that and that people know, hey, she did this all by herself and she figured all these things out. And, that is empowering for others, right?
Yeah, yeah. No, it's truly great. It's been wonderful. And yeah, past these two books, I've also created some journals. I'll show you a couple that I did.
Nice.
You might be interested in this one. It's called the Starseeds Journal.
Ooh, that looks great. Yeah, I saw your like journal prompts on your
Yeah,
website.
yeah.
So these
And
are
these sort of go hand in hand with the book. So I recommend that, people buy them if they buy the book. That way you can journal about your journey through the book.
nice.
I also have a course that's sprung forth from that connection with the collective of three. And so the course sort of takes you through how to develop a connection with your higher self and how all of that transpires. And so just developing or strengthening that connection with your higher self. So that's the course offering.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I have my YouTube channel, which I try to, keep up to date with regular posts and sort of videos on there. And more recently, I did a really great, well, I think it's still ongoing. I've been doing a speaker series with Mary Magdalene, and so she came online and transmitted all of that divine feminine energy, which has been just so fantastic and so powerful. Talking about the mystery schools during her lifetime and how pure that energy was when they were living, on the earth plane at that time. So yeah, it's just been so fascinating, talking to these beings, and it feels like they're sitting on the couch right next to me. It's just become such an intimate connection with them.
Mm.
Um, and then recently, I've also been talking to Hathor and Horus of Egypt, and so that whole dynamic as well. And Hathor comes to talk about a more sort of, she works on a very cellular energy, and so she's more into like the electron and DNA, and so it's like, oh my gosh, you know, I don't understand most of these things. It's very scientific for me, but she makes it so relatable, and you like, she takes me on this journey of physics and biology and understanding how all of these things fit together. And so it's just been so fascinating. So
Wow.
yeah, a lot of that I've put on my channel as well. And so it's free to anybody to go and view on YouTube.
Yeah, please, everybody go check out her YouTube channel. I mean, I've watched several of the videos myself, and I just want to commend you. Your voice is just perfect for what you're doing. You have such a great frequency that comes
Oh,
through in those messages. And, obviously you were the one for the job, right? It's divine. Um, and I love that this wisdom is coming through. I love that, like you said with Hathor, like the technology and kind of the science and the physics behind some of this, that is part of the missing pieces of the puzzle, that so many people are needing to fill in those blanks. And where's that going to come from? We can't expect like our government or, like leadership, whatever religions, we can't expect anybody else to bring this forth. They're the ones that have been hiding everything and
yeah.
making it all confusing and truths with lies. So, having this pure connection, and I'm excited to definitely hear more from that realm because I'm very intrigued by, by the physics, by the science, and kind of what ticks behind everything, right? What connects everything. So, how exciting! Tell me again the name of the course too, because I want to make sure people can find that.
Um, oh, it's on my website. So it's an 11-part series. I think it's just called Connecting to Your Higher Self. That's what I've called it, I think.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's something I don't know that you know about me, but I have been working on a line of angelic tools that is all about connecting people to their higher
Oh, wow.
selves. Yeah, so I love that you're on that same mission, and I've kind of explored the importance of this higher self aspect and how we can connect, right? How simple it is to do that and really start to align further, into that space to get you on that higher timeline. So I love that you're doing that work. Just as some examples, maybe just one example, what is something that people can do, or that you found or that you've heard from your lovely friends there on the sofa giving you information? What is something that people can do that's pretty simple to connect with their higher self?
Well, um, I think listening to high frequency music is one way. Just because, Noko, we've been disconnected. Our frequency or the Earth's frequency has been severed from the higher realms, right? And that's why we are not on an individual level able to connect to our higher self in a truly authentic way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when these imposters or invaders um, made their presence, if you will, on the earth plane all of these years ago, and not many people understand what has truly happened, right? With that invasion came the lower frequencies, right? So going from a fifth dimensional planet to a third dimensional planet is a huge step, right? And so when that happened, all of the beings on the earth plane were severed from their higher self connection, essentially.
Okay.
And so what we are now doing is coming back online, and this is because the earth is transitioning through the photon belt, and so we're coming into that fifth dimensional pure energy once again by default, if you will, right? And so it's like all of our antennas that were like severed are now like waking up and making that true connection back again, right? So it's like a higher self was somewhere in there, like, where are you? Where are you? And so now with us going into that light, it's like, boom, we're connected back again.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I'm not saying that it's the case for everybody. There are, indigo kids and crystal kids coming in that are already online, and they're they have the fourth, fifth, and the sixth DNA strand already activated, right?
Oh.
So all of these beings are like already empowered, so for me personally, my energy was disconnected a very long time ago, and I'll probably write another book about this. But my my lifetimes, if you will, go back to that severing, right? And so that fracturing happened during the wars, right? And so for me personally, to reconnect to that energy, I had to go through this process, right? And so just for the layperson to get back in tune with that energy, you can meditate, you can listen to high frequency music, you can do like energy tests, just simple energy tests. Use your body as a pendulum. I do this. I used to do this in the beginning. It's like, I don't know if you know this, right? So it's like ask for yes or no questions. If it's a yes, it should like easily go through your finger, right? If it's a no, you'll have that resistance. So just asking the simple questions like, is it a yes? Is it a no? Am I connected to my higher self? Yes or no? Show me the answer. And so your body is going to tell you, your heart is going to tell you if you're connected to those energies, right? And so, yeah, there's, I would say for me, meditation has been the strongest way to connect. Because once you go into that state, it's like your line is directly connected to the higher energies, to the creator.
Is meditation where you normally do like your channeling work as well, or do you have a different process?
It used to be that way, but now it's like I'm connected all the time.
It's just,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's like instant, you know.
Yeah.
But that was the way for me. Yeah,
the start
that was
practice and then warming up into those, right?
yeah,
And getting into that phase.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
Lovely. Well, we do have a few more minutes here, so let's chat about a couple other things. I wanted to bring up our amazing giveaway that we're doing.
Oh yes, absolutely.
So Racquel has so generously offered, it's an energy healing, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about that offering that somebody is going to win?
Yeah. So it's a one-on-one healing session. It could go anywhere from a half an hour to an hour, depending on what the need is. And so I address anything from clearing the chakras, connecting to the higher self. So we just run through all of those energies and figure out what it is the person is coming to me for. Sometimes I will just do a sort of a prayer or a command, if you will, of just gaining that sovereign energy back into your being. And so, yeah, it takes on many different energies, right? So it's mostly a clearing of your energy, identifying, those, I guess, places that need healing, and then a chakra clearing. And if the ascended masters or if any of these beings that I work with want to come through and give that person any messages on a personal level, that happens too. So yeah, it can take on any sort of fashion depending on what calls to that moment, right? But the basis of it is a chakra clearing, a little bit of a meditation, maybe 2 to 5 minutes, just to center myself and the other person, and just connect to that higher energy.
Nice.
And, yeah.
Work through, like a Zoom or just like is it in person or just on a audio?
Zoom. Yeah, it's usually through Zoom. But yeah, if they're living close by, I'm happy to meet.
Awesome. Okay, this is exciting. So someone will be winning Racquel's energy healing session, which I kind of wish I could enter. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds amazing.
We'll do one. Not to worry.
Yes, we'll have to trade. And I think more of us need to get into that in the community of doing more, trading and bartering and helping each other and supporting each other in these ways, because when we do that too, we can receive feedback, right, for free, and we can utilize that to improve our sessions and our work, and we can also use it as testimony, right, to share with others. And people really kind of need that, I think, when they're going to make that first connection with someone, especially with energy healing and things like that, where it's so personal. You do want to make sure you're, getting with the right person. And luckily there's so much divine energy around this. You get connected in with the right people. So
yeah. Sometimes I go a step further too, and I've helped one person with this. So I have, I don't know if you know about this, but you probably do because you have a scalar machine, right? So I have a Spooky 2, which is a frequency generator machine. And so I could do it remotely as well, but it would need like a DNA sample, like a fingernail perhaps, to actually put in the machine so that it can connect directly to your energy. And so I do that like that's like a more advanced sort of healing session.
So what is that scan? It actually, like, if you were to receive something for the DNA, it actually like scans that? Is it that type of technology or?
Yeah. So it doesn't matter where you are, like as long as I have that DNA sample of yours, it can reach you even if you're in Australia, right?
Mm.
So it generates, so I program, let's say you suffer from migraines, right? And so I program it in a way that it deals directly with healing you from the migraine. And so I set up like healing energies, but also it's like, so the migraine energy is here. Around that, I would set up like programs before and after that program just to engulf your energy with healing energy. And so that'll keep running, like, depends on how long the client wants it to go for. It could go for, a day, 2 days, 1 week, 10 days, depending. And so once that, and they start, and I've had feedback that it's almost instant, the healing is almost instant. And so the person that I helped actually kicked alcohol through this healing. Yeah. So
Fantastic.
it was pretty powerful. So yeah, so that's an advanced level of this energy healing. But yeah, so
Mm. I love that. I love that. So you work with frequency. I mean, all energy healers are, right? Whether or not you're actually tapping into a physical piece of technology, right? Everybody has their different ways and tools and resources. My session actually will be using the scalar plasma projector that you.
oh,
I was
I
so
think
excited
I've
to
lost you a bit.
hear how much you can, feel that energy, and like you said, the healing is instantaneous. They really can feel, even before I start, like I'll send a message that I'm starting. She's like, oh, I just felt you and I thought of you or whatever. So there's these beautiful divine connections around using the frequency healing. And I've also just worked on a puppy and a dog, and he is doing so much better just after a week of working. In fact, the first day I worked on him, he already got better. So I do see that same type of, very quick,
Yeah.
instant type of,
Do
you
you
see something.
need DNA samples for your machine to work?
No, since my system is on Scalar, I just use photographs.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
And I was very hesitant and questioning this at first because I'm a very like 3D science minded, you have to convince me, you have to prove me on things. But I am willing to try things and take a chance.
Yeah.
So I did start working with photos mainly because my son, I bought the machine to help my son, but he doesn't like the sound. It's very loud and he's sensory. And so, even my husband, they don't want to be in the same room with it just because of the sound. And I've gotten other testimony of people that love the sound.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of love hate type situation. But I was trying to find another way, to work with them, and that's why I bought it. And so a lot of times I'll work on their photos, and I'm able to see the instant, reaction right real time in my home. But even just on animals and things like that, I had a farmer send me a picture of his sheep that was having some struggles. She's getting mastitis. And yeah, he said, the first time I worked on her, it was already releasing. So it is very quick and the photos work. I mean, if you think about it, it's just another frequency. It's just another energy pattern, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even with photos, you hear like back in the day, right? Like indigenous people or things not wanting to get photos done, right? Because it's capturing something,
Yeah.
right? And so there is something there that is really intriguing to me. And then, of course, real time, I use it physically on myself on the daily. And it's taken away headaches, like that. So I really believe in the power of the both the plasma projection and the scalar energy, and the combination I think is just a double whammy. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
and I am an affiliate for that. I use it on my grid work. I make crystal grids. I have a couple of different offerings that I've just added to my website recently using frequency and these devices. So there'll be more coming out on that. And if anybody's interested in actually getting one, I would recommend that to anyone. I do have a link where you can purchase one and, of course, support me as well, me and my family, as well as the amazing company that are creating these devices. So yeah, so that's going to be our giveaway. If you want to enter, go on to either Racquel's page or my Noko's Tribe page, which is my sacred shop. And I've got the post there. All you need to do is just tag a few friends, like both of our pages, and you'll get entered. And if you share it onto your stories or onto your page, make sure you tag us so we know you did it. You'll get extra bonus entries however many times you do that. So super stoked to see. I don't think we've had any entries yet, so there's really good chances for anyone that wants to get on board. I think it's open for at least another few days. I put the date in the post. And then I also shared it in my stories here on my Nokomis page. So if you want to go back through my stories here, you can get to the post.
I think I've shared it on my Facebook as well. I'm not very familiar with Instagram, so I had to, do a bit of a study on it before I was able to get familiar with it. But hopefully I did all the right things. So
it's perfect. And, I think that that's how we learn, right?
Yeah.
It's like trying new things, opening up new avenues. And I think it is really important to, be comfortable with the uncomfortable of that. As an entrepreneur, you've done this so much already, just getting to this point, writing books and, having the confidence to show up in this way and, have your offerings and your services. Your website is amazing. Thank you for all that you're doing. I do want to ask, one of our main themes here in Tea Time is self-care and self-love. And I know you've got to be in alignment to that with this connection to higher self. So tell me, what is one of your favorite ways to take care of yourself, to self-love?
Well, it's a struggle, to be honest. I try to keep a daily practice going. So I'm an early riser, so I'm up at about 5 in the morning, and so I try to do like an hour of meditation. Sometimes I cut it short to half an hour, and then I do like a sort of a breathing exercise, and then slip into my yoga practice for the day. So I don't know, depends on how I'm feeling that day. 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. I do a daily yoga practice, and then yeah, that's sort of my go-to in the mornings, and it just sets the tone for the day, feeling gratitude, feeling that energy of gratefulness, ending it with that energy, and just being happy to be on this plane and, be in service and do the things that I really love. But yeah, that's being healthy in terms of food. I'm struggling with that because I'm sort of at that age where you go through menopause, and it's playing havoc with my hormones at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still dueling with that and trying to lose weight and that sort of thing. But yeah, I'll get there eventually. And just trying to find that balance in my food is where I'm at right now. So
I feel that so, sister. I'm actually kind of going through the pre part of that, and where I'm at in my life stages. And yeah, the hormonal, changes. And even I've noticed how much more I need to eat certain things, even like dairy. I wasn't eating dairy for quite some time, but my body literally was telling me, like, you have to eat dairy right now. I don't know if it's the calcium or, protein or something that's in there that my body needs, but I always honor that. Even though I know it kind of gets me a little cloggy, you know what I mean? It's a little thick to digest if you do too much. So I get it. And I think we do need to honor these times. But you're doing all the right things, because the best way, I think, to really tap into self-love and self-care is to start your day with it. If you get up and you basically made a declaration in that moment that you are worthy and that you are most important, and you also are doing something that I love, is the multitasking kind of piece where you're doing the body, mind, and spirit. You're bringing all three pieces in with self-care items, with yoga, with meditation, and breath work. So kudos to you. I think you're doing great.
Thank you. I also dabble a little bit in Ayurveda. So that's been one of the things that I really love. I'll tell you a secret. I'm coming up with a new journal that's sort of bringing these three energies together. So yoga, meditation, Ayurveda. It's like the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, if you will. So yeah, that's in development right now. So I'm hoping to have that online pretty quickly. So yeah, so trying my best to incorporate Ayurveda more into my life. And um, I sort of lived that lifestyle when I lived as a yogi on the island. And so I kind of am aware of it. And I'm also from India. So, you have that sort of background, right? But practicing it is something else, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So,
But place, I mean, in this day and age with where we live and the, all the parts and programs, and it makes it a little bit more difficult to.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm mostly pescatarian, so I stay away from meat, and just fish and eggs is what I eat. So
Mhm.
I think my diet is pretty balanced, right? So
Yeah,
yeah.
that sounds great. Wow. Okay. Well, we have just been flying through so much information, so many good, kind of drops, downloads, and tips for people. And I am super stoked about this new offering you're talking about with the Ayurveda. That's something I'm very in tune and interested in, and also ancient traditional Chinese medicine. I really feel like there's this ancient wisdom that is so solid, is
Yeah.
so much more pure and holistic and organic when you look at some of these practices and the wisdom behind the teachings of these ancient practices and ways of being. I really believe in them very strongly. A lot more than what's in place now is like,
Yeah.
current,
Yeah.
current medical system is like what the last 100 years or
Yeah.
so of complete destruction of the human body. Let's steer over to what our ancestors knew. They
Yeah.
already knew the wisdom. They already knew how to treat our bodies the best. They had been doing this for thousands of
Yeah. There's
years.
so much wealth in it, there's so much wealth in it. And it's just amazing. Like, even if you just focus on one element of that energy in your life, it's like it just opens this entire universe to how you can live your life, So yeah, I would totally recommend anybody listening here that has any sort of interest in yoga, meditation, or Ayurveda to totally go into those realms and discover it for yourself. It's just it's truly amazing. And once you incorporate all three into your life, it's like, boom, you're there.
Well, we are going to be on the lookout for that for sure. We're excited about that. And we're also excited about all your other amazing offerings. I'm definitely going to be grabbing a copy, at least of one of your books to start, and then get on to the next one because I am already like halfway in between so many books. So I got to make sure and pace myself. Um,
Thank you.
but I'm excited about that. Yeah. And what else we have to come in the future. I mean, you and I have been doing a lot of grid work missions and helping to heal, and bring these energies to the collective. And so just looking forward to more of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I love working with Indy and, just doing all of that grid work stuff. And it all sort of comes together, right? When we incorporate all of the things that we've gathered as tools over the last few years and bringing all of that into the forefront and working all of that into perhaps a grid mission or something like that, a grid work mission. So yeah, it's been fascinating how to just bring all of that online and integrate it within the kind of work that you really love and want to do.
Mm, I love that. And you're willing to invest in that. You're willing to do the learning and set those foundations behind that. And then that's what I really love to see is like there's so many different people coming together in these spaces and just sharing each other's wisdom and tools and gifts. And I mean that's what it's all about, right? For us to
Absolutely.
this higher consciousness, I think we need to find that even more. So yeah. Okay. One more question
Of
for you, my friend.
course, yeah.
What did you bring? It's tea time. So what did you bring? Are you sipping on something over there?
Um, I actually have a blend of chamomile and orange pekoe. So
Ooh,
I
nice.
found this tea from India, from Assam. So it's like from the tea fields in Assam in India. So I sort of created my own blend, if you will. Um, so it's chamomile and orange pekoe. And yeah, so cheers.
Yes, here I had my little raspberry leaf. Speaking of hormonal, I got my raspberry leaf going,
Nice.
and I haven't heard of the. Oh, maybe I have. Is that a type of tea? The Pico, Pek, right?
Yeah,
Do you? Are
Pekeo it is. It's more of like a black tea.
okay, it's dark.
Yeah.
Okay. And are you bringing those two together like with some intention? Is there something behind that for you?
Yeah. I like to bless the water or the tea or any sort of liquid that I have
Mhm.
taking into my body. And so I do like a yeah, I try to do that every time I usually drink water out of like a mason jar. So I have a filtration system and then I pour it into the mason jar. And so I sort of bless the water. And if I'm making a tea, then I'll just use it from the filtration system and then just do my water blessing on it. And yeah, so the intention is there. So it's just purifying and activating the water.
Mm, beautiful. I love that. See, she's dropping more gems for y'all out there. Get more intentional with your beverages.
Yeah.
And it can be as simple as just saying I love you over and over to your water, right?
Yeah,
Water,
absolutely. Yeah.
that energy, that frequency that you put into it. So why not do that for your pets, for your loved ones? You
Yeah.
know, when you're cooking, like just imbue it with that divine love that's shining through you. Yeah.
And unfortunately, we live in a world where everything seems to be poison, right, on some level or the other, right? And so it's important to purify the energy that you're taking into your body. And, it is your temple, so why not take care of it, right?
I love that. Perfect. Perfect way to end today, Raquel. This has been such an amazing little connection that we've had. I know it's going to keep going past here. And we still have our giveaway, so everybody stay tuned for that. And I will definitely announce those winners once we get to the end and share with Raquel so she can reach out to her winner. I'll reach out to mine, and we'll have some more divine connections here, some more healing, and see what comes through, right?
Thank you, Noko. This has been awesome. Yeah, it's been wonderful. I'm actually a very shy person, so opening up for me in this way has just, been such a great practice for my throat chakra to come online.
Well, you wouldn't even ever know that you were a shy person. You have been and really really showing up in that way, and that's something I think to be proud of, if that's something you're not used to. And for those of you that maybe are camera shy out there, or still working on your throat chakras, I think we all are, but maybe you haven't done this sort of thing. Here's another inspiration from Raquel that you can show up and open up, and it can be really easeful and graceful. So
Thank you. No, this has been wonderful for me as well. Thank you so much.
thank you, Raquel. You are such a beautiful sister, and we'll look forward to our next connection. I'm sure. Actually, are you going to be doing the healing? I think Indy's got something going on
Yeah.
tomorrow, right?
Yes, I will be
You're going
online
to
tomorrow. Yeah.
join us? Okay, great. So it's like we're forming a little. We've
Oh,
got a little.
I don't know if you're talking about the same thing. Is this the offshoot from the course?
Oh, she's doing that. She's doing the filming, but I think she's doing some sort of new healing session in regards to some of the terrible things that
Oh,
are
yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
in the UK,
I
I think.
don't know if I'll be able to do that, but I'm definitely hoping to be online for the recording session.
Perfect. Well, it's super early, actually, because you're West Coast, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, so it
I'm.
is an early
It's
her.
2 o'clock right now. I actually mistook our timing. I thought you were the same timeline as Indy, and I was like, oh, it's going to be at 3 o'clock for me. And then I got the message from you going live in a few minutes. I was like, ah! So I had to speed up everything and be there in a few minutes. But no, it all worked out.
I'm glad it worked out. Yeah, I'm Eastern time because I'm in Georgia,
Yeah,
so Indy's an
yeah,
hour behind me. Yeah, and then you're several hours behind me.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
well, thank you for making it all work. This was so, so cool. I love everything that we brought through. I'm excited to myself watch the replay because I like to suck it all in after and get all those downloads too. And excited too, maybe some more co-creation and collaboration in the future for us.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm excited to have that connection with you as well. It's been truly blessed that we came together in this way, and I'm so grateful to you for inviting me and for, taking me on this journey with you on your channel and introducing me to your guests. So I'm really, really grateful. Thank you.
Thank you, Raquel. Okay, everyone, we are going to wrap up. I hope you enjoyed. I know you enjoyed our amazing conversation. Definitely, please check out Raquel's channels, all her different pages and platforms, and support one another. This is how we are going to grow our communities. This is how we're going to build and get our messages out and help to heal. This the collective, really, humanity and Mother Earth. This is what our missions are. So definitely please show up and love, like, share. This is how we grow and build. All right, y'all. I'm just going to sing my little outro song and we will see you next time. We will have another tea time coming up pretty soon. I'll post that on my page as soon as I have that available. And all right, one love. N to the O to the K to the O, N to the O to the K. Big up the underdog. N to the O to the K to the O, N to the O to the K. Power to the people. Woohoo!